name's Susan, and her brother Jonathan Storm.
No, don't say Jonathan. His name's not Jonathan.
Because
John. Huh? Focus testing showed that Johnny skewed a little young.
His name's not Jonathan.
Because
Hi everybody, welcome back to Christravaganza. This is once again a day where we have suffered.
All in the name of Chris.
Today we watched Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer, and it's a movie.
they had to shoot it, then they had to edit it, and then someone had to watch it and go, yeah, no, keep this in. No, take that stuff out. That's ridiculous.
This movie is an hour and a half long, and it easily could have been handled in 45 minutes tops.
Including the credits.
I think this is the first sequel that we've watched. So we've already visited these characters in their world before, unfortunately. This one involves an alien who's working for Galactus and also somehow kills Galactus. Quite like TMNT, Angel and I checked out. E.T. was the only one bringing me back. So this movie was released in 2007. It was directed by Tim Story, who also directed the first Fantastic Four movie. Once again, there are pages and pages of cons and maybe 12 pros for the whole movie. So we're gonna get right on into our pros. The opening credits have Danny Elfman style music that we liked. It wasn't Danny Elfman, but maybe it should have been. Johnny's leather jacket, once again, a star of its own right.
Should have gotten the credit.
I don't fly coach.
Good for him. Andre Braugher is in it. He's not an amazing character and also doesn't make it all the way through the movie, but he's there and I screamed. Stan Lee was actually playing himself and not a character.
Name? Stan Lee.
And they didn't let him into the wedding.
They didn't even look at the list.
Yeah. We didn't even mention that Reed and Sue are getting married and that's a big thing that's happening. They're celebrities, so they're broadcasting their wedding and they have an actual bouncer to keep people from getting in.
They're trying to get married.
Yeah.
3 times before that, they failed to get married. So you'd think those 3 times that it would have been oh, we have the wedding planned already, we just need to get to the venue properly,
Yeah.
and we need to make sure that no natural disasters happen, and then get married. But apparently no.
Sue has the patience of a saint. I would not stand for any of this. Reed Richards is not worth it. It turns out that all of their powers are linked to their emotions except for Ben, because Ben is just a rock. A big Jewish rock.
What do they expect us to do? Keep it going, just the 2 of us?
Doug Jones is the Silver Surfer.
But also Lawrence Fishburne.
Let it be done quickly.
The Silver Surfer is on his surfboard and physically it's Doug Jones playing the character, but he's voiced by Lawrence Fishburne until he loses his silver surfboard, and then he's Doug Jones.
The one I serve.
And then he's Lawrence Fishburne for 2 more lines when he gets the surfboard back, but at the end of the movie he's not Lawrence Fishburne. They just couldn't pay Lawrence Fishburne anymore. This is a very quick little shot of Johnny's butt. So I wrote America's ass. Andre Braugher says,
What the hell is wrong with you people?
and just that is the mood of the movie. They're
They're
going
just
to save the world, but they're bickering because
About their
Sue
personal
and
problems.
Reed have been talking about leaving the team to start a family, which is not something that they've established that they want to do. It's just that they're getting married. And so Johnny and Ben are really upset that they're being abandoned.
They want a nice, normal, boring-ass life. No more Fantastic Four.
But they're not actually talking about it like normal human beings would. They're just yelling at each other.
We've got to stick to the plan and work as a team.
Oh, so we're a team now!
Thanks Andre Braugher for that beautiful performance. Johnny is the smartest person on the team. I just wrote that down because he's the only one that ever has any good ideas.
Which is odd, because he's surrounded by supposed geniuses.
It's they just really liked Johnny but didn't want to stray from the comic book too far. But then also didn't give anybody else on the team a personality. The last pro that I have just says, Johnny still loves popcorn.
Is there any way we could get some DVDs or popcorn or something just to pass the time?
We got lots of cons. Let's dive right in. Fantastic Four. I know Fantastic Four works as a comic book team. We have never been able to make them work as a movie team, and
They have to stop. Just stop, please. It's like X-Men. It's not working.
the first scene is too dark. All I know is that it's in space. There's something blowing up. The captions are very odd. Different people speaking different languages are reacting to seeing something. The captions are just speaking Japanese. Why don't you just translate it so that we know what they're saying?
can we just make things more geographically accurate? Because in Japan, they had a really nice shot of Mount Fuji, and then like they were just on the sea, when in reality it's not really like that.
Everybody has bad hair except for Chris.
Sue's wig is
Sue's
not
wig
good.
is a mess.
No. Wigs. Don't
Yeah.
forget.
Yeah.
Several hairstyles.
Yeah.
All of them
Kept
bad.
changing.
Johnny also asked,
What do you have against capitalism?
Don't get her started.
This is when capitalism was like still kind of cool.
capitalism has never been cool. But anyway, in this essay, I will hold off on the essay. It's just a con, and you should know why. Johnny wears sunglasses indoors, and they're also hideous sunglasses.
What a D-bag move.
Right? Like, there's a burp gag that goes on for way too long.
Burping in someone's face it's gross and rude.
And childish.
And
like,
also,
Ben is nothing more than a child in this movie.
and it was also like a beer burp, and you know how beer tastes and smells, like on your breath. It's gross.
Reed's dancing is terrible, and also the women that like hang on to him in this club, they're clearly written and directed by not women.
He's describing the Big Bang, which I'm sure people just know, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, you're so smart.
Let's go
It's-
dance
It's so attractive."
and rub our bodies up against each other, just so that Sue can walk in and there can be unnecessary tension between them.
That dance scene is somehow worse than the dance scene in Spider-Man 3. Afterwards, she makes him feel insanely insecure by going,
It was nothing compared to what I did at my bachelorette party.
they clearly need a lot of marriage counseling.
They don't have a healthy relationship.
No.
They should have, that's probably why they couldn't get married those 5 times.
Why has Sue let this go on for so long? They like want Sue to be this like head bitch in charge kind of character, but then they dress her like a librarian and also make her overly emotional and keep her with this man that doesn't listen to her, consistently just like walks away from her in the middle of a conversation when he just has an idea instead of saying like, oh, excuse me, I'll be right back to finish this or something. I don't buy that Reed really cares about Sue until she gets stabbed in the heart. Sue is just like poorly written is the thing.
And she's supposed to be powerful because Victor Von Doom comes back, and then she threatens him by saying that she can create a force field in people's bodies and then kill them. And that's supposed to be insanely badass, which it is, but then throughout the movie she's constantly getting saved by people that know that they don't need to save her.
And Reed like tries to keep her safe from Johnny, who's her brother. Reed is just a mess.
So what's it take to date the Human Torch?
Fireproof lingerie and a lot of Aloe.
I'm like, okay, so like Johnny gets horny and just turns into a flame.
Nothing makes sense.
It doesn't make sense.
It's so unnecessary.
There's no continuity, there's nothing that makes
None.
sense. This could have been the first movie and it would have been fine.
It could
because
have.
If you cut like the first half of the first Fantastic Four and like chunks of the second one and made it into one movie, it would have made more sense.
That's what I'm
Like they
saying.
get their powers, right? And then, you know, they try
And
to
then
get
you don't
married.
need to like pad the runtime with all the useless shit that makes no sense. They gave Jessica Alba these terrible contacts that you can tell are fake. Like they didn't even bother to make her eyes look normal, like natural eyes. The first time that they try to get married, just in the movie, Sue's got this awful haircut where it looks like they've taken those scrunchies that are made out of synthetic hair and just like attached it to the back of her neck.
Her hair looks like the evil stepmother from Cinderella. Like
Yep.
that weird hair was like that.
It
but
does.
like shrunken down and then put only in the back, like right above her neck.
Who were the people at the wedding?
Yeah, they had a lot of people at their wedding, and
They don't have
never-
friends.
Reed definitely doesn't have friends.
They make a big, yeah, exactly.
She makes a point of talking about like needing privacy to have a normal life,
Is my life always gonna be a circus?
but then they're letting their wedding be televised. There's a point where like the helicopter kind of it just flies up and it's like, congratulations on your wedding, guys, and Sue's just like, oh, this is fun, I wanted this. Kerry Washington, aka Daredevil, knows where Johnny is at any given point in time, even though she's
smells
blind,
like
right?
ash.
She smells like
I
ash,
don't
which
think so.
makes no sense. But somehow when the helicopters, you know, it's falling, you know, people are screaming, and the wind from the blades are pushing everybody's hair back and the wind's in their face, she's somehow just standing still, and there's a helicopter blade like coming towards her face, and she's just like, oh no, I can't feel it at all.
Apparently, Johnny and the Silver Surfer time travel, or just like hyperspace travel, because they make it from New York to Washington, D.C. in about 30 seconds. Johnny apparently has to say, flame on, every time he wants to turn into a ball of fire. Silver Surfer takes Johnny out into space and he almost dies, and almost turned the movie off. But then as Johnny is falling back to Earth, and I just wrote down 2 dudes chilling in the desert,
I was thinking-
5 feet apart because they're not gay. The surfer makes them switch powers.
Did they ever explain that? Like,
Your encounter with a surfer has affected your molecules.
Inconsistent elevator.
So the elevator was super slow. This is how it just took them forever to get to the top. But now in this movie, the elevator is just speeding
It
them
is
down.
Tower of Terror level. The movie is too long and nothing is consistent.
Yep.
The movie is far too long.
so boring.
Johnny's always been more of a solo act.
No. Reed just doesn't know how to read a room.
He's the face. He's the personality of the team.
He gave them all names. So they're like talking about trajectories and latitudes and shit, and nobody gives a shit about this scene. And then E.T. was like, oh no, the Silver Surfer's heading straight for New York. And it wasn't. It was London.
One of the 8 places on Earth that exist at any point in time.
Yeah.
I can't hear the word London while watching a Chris movie.
Yeah, it
For a very long
definitely broke us. Reed just has an immediate grasp on Johnny's powers when they switch powers. Sue couldn't figure it out, just screamed for 5 minutes straight. But Reed has no problem just flaming on. The first time that Johnny switches powers with somebody is by accident, and it's with Sue, of course, because what's a Fantastic Four movie without Sue Storm being completely naked in front of her brother and in public?
It's so funny. Oh my gosh, where are my clothes? Oh, I'm naked in public.
Reed is just really mean to Johnny for like no reason, other than the fact that like Johnny is the only one that's had a physical altercation with the Silver Surfer. So like if anybody touches Johnny, they just switch powers. It's not Johnny's fault, Reed.
It's weird that he's so mean to him because they're gonna be brothers-in-law.
It's not like a personal thing for Reed. It's like Reed thinks that Johnny is more dangerous.
No, like you should make.
Even
the
though
effort to
Johnny
chill
was
out.
always more dangerous because he turns into fire. Why are the stakes any higher than they are normally? Your brother-in-law becomes a walking flame.
Never once has he like accidentally burned somebody or
Yeah.
lost control of his powers.
No.
And Reed is just, no, Johnny, stop it.
So Victor Von Doom comes back, and lo and behold, they have to work with him. And then also, lo and behold, he betrays them. Oh,
Shocking.
everybody was just so surprised that Victor Von Doom comes back and betrays the team that, you know, imprisoned him in a metal tomb for a year. The only con about Johnny's personality is that he's casually ableist, and he makes a lot of like casual remarks about Alicia's blindness, and they're not funny.
I mean, she's, so attractive. Even with the,
I really feel like if Johnny had been written out, those things wouldn't be part of it. Like Johnny might make more jokes about Ben having a penis made out of rock,
I hate to wake up one morning and find out she was killed in a rock slide.
but not necessarily about blindness. Sue can walk through walls.
Apparently.
She was able to walk through a wall when she's invisible, but when Johnny took her power, people kept bumping into him.
Yeah. Victor kills Andre Braugher. He also apparently doesn't float. Oh, so much about this movie needs explanation that I just don't have the time or energy to give. Silver Surfer can bring Sue back to life for some reason, and then also explode in an attempt to kill Galactus, but then still be floating in the middle of space for the after credit scene. Like they expected a third movie to be made. Sony just like had high hopes. Our arbitrary ranking was smiles per hour, thanks to E.T. We only went with Johnny's smiles because
He's the only one that matters.
Christravaganza.
It's about Chris. We got 25 smiles per hour out of an hour and a half duration. So, you do the math. My brain doesn't want to do it. The IMDb score is 5.6. The Rotten Tomatoes score is 4.78. According to Rotten Tomatoes, this is better than Not Another Teen Movie.
Lies.
Yeah.
No.
My score for this, it's not London, and it's not TMNT, so I'll give it a 3.
I think I would go with a 3 also.
Okay.
I'm really harsh with this one. I'm gonna give it a 2.
So the guest score is an average of 2.5. So the total score is 15.88 out of 40. Apparently I've seen this in parts before, but really I've only seen like the last wedding scene.
Why are they having this traditional Japanese wedding when neither one of them have ever mentioned having a
Wanting
Japanese
to have a wedding
heritage?
in Japan or anything. E.T.'s seen it, and he's the only one on this couch that has seen the whole movie before. Finally, for the love of God, I have made it to the Nanny Diaries and I cannot wait. I am so excited. It's for real this time. It's a rom-com. He plays the love interest. That is really all that I'm asking for. That was Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. I deserve all of the thumbs up for having gotten this far. If you liked watching us completely suffer through 2 Fantastic Four movies now, click the bell below so you don't miss any of our future videos. And if you're not already subscribed to The Princess and Scrivener, please do so down below as well, especially if you'd like to see more videos on Disney, intersectional feminism, pop culture critiques, Christravaganza, and more.
One of them will see you real soon.